When I first started out, there were so many people that told me I shouldn't become a relationship expert. They said I was too inexperienced, too young, and unqualified. But I say if I waited until I'm 40, 50, 60, 70 to get validation from them, I would never be happy and successful in my career. So I say the time is now. The time to elevate is now.
Hey everyone, it's Neffy Anderson here with a brand new episode of The Path Less Traveled, a web series spotlighting successful millennials who turn their passions into lucrative careers. Now today we're talking with life and relationship coach, author, motivational speaker, Cheyenne Bostock. Woo! And I know you guys know him from Twitter or social media, Instagram at Ask Shy. Yeah, that's the one. Shy is the go-to guy for many media outlets when they're looking for someone that has real, uncut advice on life, relationships, and love. Shy is not stingy. Okay, Shy shares his expertise both nationally and internationally for you people overseas over there via magazines, radio, television, and all that other good stuff. Thank you for taking the time out to talk with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay, so let's get right into it. So I know that back in 2011, you were living in a homeless shelter. And I know that kind of served as the catalyst for the career that you have now. So talk to me about, what was happening in that time? How did you get to, in that state? How did you become homeless?
Well, I like to call it my rock bottom.
Okay.
And I think everybody needs to hit their rock bottom before they can make it to the top.
Right.
And what was so important about that experience was I got an opportunity to really see myself. And at the time, it was the most the ugliest thing I could have ever placed my eyes on. But you know what? It allowed me to see my worst self so that I can become my best self.
Oh, I like that's a nice little quotable out there. So what happened? What got you to that place? Because everybody thinks that that could never be me, but that could be all of us. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. That place was all about choices. I could have chosen to go to my family members. I could have chosen to go to my friends, but I chose to actually go to the place that I knew I could actually access my fullest potential. And I needed some alone time. I call it eliminating the noise. And sometimes the noise can be a significant other. The noise can be your family members, could be your parents, could be your friends. And while I was in that place, I had no noise around me. Although I was surrounded by hundreds and thousands of men who seemed to have the ambition that I had, the drive that I have, there was no noise. All I could focus on was me. And so at that time, I took that opportunity to really dig deep inside of myself and say, Cheyenne, what are you doing here?
Right.
Not just what are you doing here in this shelter, but what are you doing here on this earth? What is your purpose? And at that moment, that's where I discovered it. I had a chance to see that I was wasting my time. And I had to stop wasting my time. I had to start living with some type of passion and some type of purpose. So I discovered it. I asked myself, since I had nothing else to do, I asked myself, what are you great at? What do you want to be remembered for?
Right.
And so I answered myself, I said, well, I love making people laugh. I love motivating people, inspiring people, and I just love speaking.
Right.
So I said, well, why don't you do that and turn that passion into a source of income? And that's exactly what I did. I created a brand called Ask Shy, where people can ask me questions about cultivating relationships, advancing in their career, and improving their personal brand. And so that's what I offer my clients.
So talk to me about the opportunities that you created for yourself that led to your big break with this brand that you created for yourself. Right? So from going to being in a homeless shelter and then being on Arise TV or Fox 5, what situation did you put yourself in order to, have such a huge amount of success?
I did something that is extremely significant and important for everyone to try, and that's believing in myself. I had to believe that it was possible. And before I entered that homeless shelter, I doubted myself. I totally overlooked my true ability. I did not believe that I could possibly be a writer or an author or a motivational speaker. I thought no, that's for everybody else.
Right.
It can't be me. I
Wait,
can't do it.
so how did you set yourself up though? Like, because even though we can believe in ourselves and want things, but we actually have to do the work. So what is the work that you did in order to have your big break, your aha moment, when you're getting called from newspapers and magazines in order to get advice?
Well, I knew that I had to do something different, because when I was in that homeless shelter, I was applying to 100 different jobs a day, and I wasn't getting the response that I wanted. I wasn't getting the interviews. I wasn't getting the employment opportunities. So I said, you know what, these people must be crazy.
Right.
They don't want to hire me. I could turn their company around. But I said, you know what, it's time for me to do something different. It's time for me to stop looking for people to hire me and start doing the hiring. So I went out every morning, because we had to be out at 7 a.m. I went to this place called Borders. They're closed now, but it was like a Barnes & Noble.
Right.
And I would read books in one sitting every single day. Books on psychology, books on self-help, books on marketing, branding, social media, all of these different things, because I wanted to figure out how can I take what I believe other people need and market it to the masses. And so that's exactly what I did. I strategized. I figured out a way to brand my beliefs, brand my passion, and feed it to everyone in social media, in the social media realm.
I love it. So that was my next question. I was going to ask, what did you do to deliberately brand yourself, right? Because you have the Robert Hill Seniors of the world and the Tony Gaskins. So what did you do, or are you doing in this space to stand out?
In those marketing books that I read, in those branding books, they said to find your competition. And I did. When I was researching, I did find a couple of people who were in the same space as I was. But also what I read in those marketing and branding books is no one can duplicate your story. So while there are many other motivational speakers, authors, life coaches, there's only one Cheyenne Bostock.
Hey, I love it. So talk to me about a piece of your journey, going off of the story tip, that most people don't know about, right? Because you can only share so much. So give us a little insider tidbit that you think people would be surprised to know about your journey to where you are today.
I think that most people look at everything that I've built and they just think that it just came out of nowhere. And a lot of people, they haven't had the opportunity to visit my website and see my passion and purpose video, where I openly speak about my homeless shelter experience, what it was like being inside of that place, and how I got out. And I think that everyone needs to see that, because whether you're in a homeless shelter, an abusive relationship, you're in debt, or whatever your situation, whatever your dark place is, everybody has it and is going to experience it. But what they need to know is there is a way out. There's an opportunity for them to get out.
Right.
And the first way to do that is to believe that it's possible. Understand that this is just a stepping stone. It's not the end, it's the beginning.
I love it. So talk to me about your last career low and how you bounced back from that. Because to your point, career lows happen. Life is not always gonna be sunshine, but sometimes when, life knocks us down, people feel like they're gonna stay down. They can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So talk to us about the last time you experienced that in your career and how you bounced back.
Well, when I was living in the shelter, I did have an opportunity to work with a nonprofit organization. It was temporary, but that's one of the things that helped me to get out of that position, because for the first time in my life, I listened to God. He spoke to me and he said, I want you to go and volunteer time at a nonprofit organization. So I'm like, I'm in a homeless shelter. I don't have any money. I don't have any shelter, any food. Yeah. I don't have time to volunteer.
Right.
But that was a part of the reason why I was in the homeless shelter. You asked that earlier, is because I was selfish with my time. I was selfish with my resources. I was selfish with my energy and my willingness to give. So I had a paradigm shift, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do what God told me to do. I'm going to go volunteer at this nonprofit organization. So I went and I filled out a volunteer application and submitted my resume. And when they saw my resume, they said, Mr. Bostock, we don't want you to volunteer here. We want to hire you full time.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, was this what God was trying to show me? I was like, wow, I'm going to try this from now on. Every time I connect with someone, I'm going to try to leave them with something, give them something freely and willingly. And I know I'm going to feel good about it. I know they're going to feel good about it.
That doesn't sound like a low, though. That sounds like a high. What was
I was getting to the low.
Okay.
The position was temporary. So after the position ended, after the short term had ended, I was trying to figure out, what am I going to do? What am I going to do next? But that gave me an opportunity to focus 100% on my new brand. So sometimes your breakdown can lead you to your breakthrough.
Right. I like that. You just got all the quotables, don't you? So tell me about one thing that you know now, being in this space as a motivational speaker, author, and life coach, that you wish you knew when you first got into it, right? Because life is a learning experience. So what are some things that you know now that you wish you knew when you first started?
In the beginning, motivational speaking was not in my repertoire.
Okay.
I had to grow and develop my brand. I had to believe that I had a story worth sharing with other people.
Right.
And motivational speaking was a next level for me. Outside of the coaching, outside of the events, outside of the books, I know that I needed to reach more people. And there's nothing like a face-to-face interaction with somebody, looking in their eyes, feeling their energy, hearing their voice, and listening to their story to be motivated and inspired.
Right. So let me talk about the motivational speaking aspect, but also the life coaching aspect. What is a life coach? What is a relationship coach? Because there's so many people that say that they are experts in this arena, but it's like, we're all going through life. So how are you going to be an expert on, still going, tell me what that is. What does that mean to you?
I'm glad that you pointed that out, because we have a short life expectancy. And so if you leave it to other people to evaluate you, you'll never be good enough. You'll never be qualified to coach anyone on life, to coach anyone on relationships. But I tell each and every person that I meet that you have the experience. You are qualified. You have dealt with certain situations in life that you can teach other people. And that's what makes you a qualified coach in any space that you're in. So as a life coach, I help people to set their goals, set plans of action, and actually reach their goals. And the same thing in their relationship. A lot of people, they don't see the value in actually investing in their relationship. But without relationships, we have nothing.
Right. So a lot of questions, one major question that people continuously ask or go through life searching for is their purpose. So how do you help people find their purpose if they can't find it themselves?
Well, I always like to encourage people to have the 5 Ps. And the 5 Ps are passion, purpose, product, people, and partnerships. And you take that passion, a lot of people, it just goes right over their head, just like me.
Okay.
My passion was speaking to people, motivating them, inspiring, making them laugh. I didn't think that was something that I could make a profit at,
right,
or I can pursue a purpose in. But I did. I took that passion and then I figured out why. What am I going to do with it next? My purpose is I'm going to use my gifts to inspire you, to uplift you, to elevate you. So when you find that gift, whether you're a singer, you're a dancer, now take it to another level. How are you going to use that to pour into other people?
I love it. So you definitely pour into us via social media. I don't know if you guys have chimed in on the Ask Shay B stuff when he does like the free advice on Twitter. If not, you need to follow him. Talk to me about, that was a nice little segue. See how I set you up right there?
Thank you.
Talk to me about how you strategically and creatively use social media to further your brand.
Well, while I was reading all those wonderful books at Borders, I did read a book on marketing via Twitter.
What's the name of the book?
Twitter Marketing for Dummies.
Okay, I love it.
Yes, so I used that book and they told me that Twitter has over, I believe, 500 million users, probably way more now. But I was like, wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And Facebook has over 1 billion.
Right.
So I said, you know what, I have to get connected on these social media sites. And at first I thought, Twitter's just a site for girls to post pictures and tell them where they are, what they're doing. I don't need to be on Twitter.
Right.
But after reading that book, I was totally convinced that I needed to be on Twitter so that I can put out great content, connect with people, share information, and build relationships. And I can honestly say that Twitter has been very, very helpful to the building of my brand and my career. All of my media connections, TV, radio, magazine, newspapers have all come from Twitter.
Wow. And how did that become possible? What are you sharing that is gravitating these people towards you, these outlets towards you?
Well, it's all about connecting. When you have an opportunity, I view Twitter as like a huge virtual network. And it's like I'm on a stage and I have the microphone and this is my opportunity to speak in front of millions. And that's what a timeline does. So you put quality blogs, videos, tweets, and other information on your timeline, so that when you follow someone, the follow is like you're in a crowd of 1 million people. So you follow and then you tap someone, that's a follow. So now you're looking at me, you're looking at my timeline, my bio, you're checking me out, and then you decide whether you want to follow me back. So if I'm walking in a crowd full of millions of people and I never tap anybody, or I never follow anybody, then I'm missing out on the opportunity to grow my following and connect with other people. Or another way to tap someone is to retweet their information. So if I retweet something that you shared, and then you notice that you're getting a bunch of more retweets, you're like, wait a minute, where did that come from? Oh, ask Shy B. He helped me to get those followers up. So let me follow him back and build with him. And that's what Twitter is all about to me.
I love it. Well, speaking of social media, we can't keep you, the fans, out. So we posted a question on Instagram to see what your fans and supporters wanted to know about your life and career.
Excellent.
One person wanted to know what makes a relationship coach or a life coach in general different from a therapist.
Well, a therapist, they focus on mental health and diagnosis. I simply help people with their goals. I don't just prescribe medicine or anything like that. I'm just giving you advice on how to go from point A to point B. Gotcha.
So the ladies also want to know, are you in a relationship? What's the situation? What's going on? Because, whoever we get advice from, we want to look at them as an example to see that they're doing well.
Definitely. And I think it's very important to be in a relationship with yourself and with God. At the moment, I'm not married, but I do look forward to it. I do value marriage, and I can't wait to get to that.
You're excited.
I'm excited.
So hold on, because we got to get the tea. So why aren't you married yet? Because you have a son, right? So what didn't go right with the relationship with his mom?
Well, my son's mother and I have a great relationship. It's almost perfect. But when I first met her, I was young, immature, wasn't thinking about my future. I certainly wasn't a life coach at that point.
Right.
And sometimes you outgrow people, and
right.
That's what happened with that relationship.
So we love social media. You love social media too. Is it okay to find love on social media? Can you creep of it? Well, I don't see creep. I'm setting it up all wrong. Is it okay to DM somebody? Because everybody's finding love via social media these days. So is it a do or a don't? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's impossible to actually date online. You have to meet and connect in person to see if there's real synergy and chemistry.
Right.
But you connect with people and meet people wherever you meet people. So you might stumble across somebody's profile that you're interested in online. It's one thing when you stumble across somebody and you connect with somebody and it's organic than when you're actually seeking. I like to meet people organically. If I'm out at a networking event and there's great synergy, we do business, we have brunch, whatever, but I'm not actively seeking opportunities online. There's a difference.
I gotcha. All right, so that's no to all you people. Get out them DMs. So speaking of dating, is there a right or wrong way to date? So me personally, I'm going to put myself in the audience's seat. I don't know how to date, right? Because I am focused on just one person. I can't juggle. I'm very invested. So I can't be talking to 5 guys at the same time. Is that how it's supposed to be done? How does dating work?
Well, I always tell people to view their relationships like a business. If you're out looking for jobs, do you apply for one job? Do you go to one interview? Or do you explore the pool of opportunities? I always tell women to date multiple men at once because it's just a date. You don't know how it's going to pan out. The first guy could be a jerk, the next one could be a loser, but then the third one could be a winner. So you want to make sure that your options are open and you're not waiting for this one opportunity from this one great guy.
Okay, all right. See, you were talking directly to me. Let's see, we'll take one more question. We'll make it a 2-part question. So in regards to relationships, what are some of the misconceptions that men have in relationships? And what are some of the misconceptions that women have in relationships? It's just about how it's supposed to go, how it's supposed to be handled. What do they come to you and ask for help for?
Well, I'll start with the men. The men rarely come for help. And I'm sure you can attest to that as a woman. Men are very proud and they don't want to admit that, many times they don't want to admit that they are struggling, that they need help. and there are areas in their lives that they can grow. So most of my clients have been female. And one of the things that I've noticed about a lot of today's women, 2015 women, is they're extremely powerful. And I love that about them. They're educated, they're career oriented, they can take care of themselves in so many ways. And a lot of them literally don't need a man. And a man wants to feel valued, a man wants to feel appreciated. Even if you can pay for all the bills, you can hold open your own car door, and you can pull out your own seat, a man wants to have that opportunity to do it for you. So I always tell the ladies to enjoy being a woman, because being a woman will allow you to attract a gentleman.
Okay, all right. So we gotta kind of like, but sometimes it's hard to find a gentleman though. Like, where they at? And I feel like the people that sometimes approach the women that are educated or powerful or whatever, they're the guys that you would like never go out with.
Well, it's all about positioning yourself. You know, I always tell a woman that if you like a guy who reads, position yourself at a bookstore. You like a man who works out, position yourself at a gym. You want a man who's spiritual, position yourself at a church, and so on. And sometimes it's not about the right time for you. Sometimes it's the right time for both parties. It could be you're in a situation where you see a guy that you like, but he can't approach you because he's on a date with someone, or he's in the room with someone and maybe a conflict of interest for him to approach you at that moment. He could be gay, or worst of all, he's just not interested in you. So it's all about opportunity.
Right. So we just want to wrap up with your books. Tell us how your books, you have 2 books, I'll let you talk about them both. How do they help us achieve what we're looking for, both in our relationship and just like in life in general?
My first book, Food, Sex, and Peace of Mind, What a Woman Needs to Know to Keep a Man, is a guide for young ladies to tap into their true power as a woman, to understand the way men think, and to attract a quality man of substance. And I think that's very important for every young lady. There are many young ladies who don't have a father figure, they don't have that male mentorship, and they don't have that guide to show them that you are valuable, you are special, and you are worthy of a quality relationship. So that's what this book offers. And my second book, Break Every Chain, Lessons Every Father Should Teach His Son About Life, Love, and Relationships, is an awesome book for men, and I think that every man should get a copy of it, because it shows men how to, despite all of their lack of relationships with their father, because there are a lot of young men out there who don't have fathers. Despite that, you can still make a choice to be there for someone else. You can be a mentor to other young men. You can be the father that you never had to your son. So it gives them guidance on financial issues, on manhood issues, on emotional issues, and I think it's very important for our community.
I love it. I think it's very important for our community too.
Yes.
So what else can we look forward to from you?
Well, I'm all for building relationships. So I created this awesome group on Facebook that I want everyone to check out. It's called Our Network.
Okay.
And Our is an acronym for Opportunities for Ultimate Relationships. And so the purpose of the group is to bring powerful entrepreneurs and brand builders together to promote themselves, to promote each other, and support one another. And it's an awesome feedback in the group so far. In only 7 days, it's reached 1,000 members, and it's still growing.
What?
We're looking forward to putting together networking events, fundraisers, and charity events, not just in New York, but across the country, across the world. So we're growing.
Wow, that's amazing. You guys heard that? So run, don't walk, run to Facebook. Shy, on behalf of everybody on the other side of that screen, I just want to thank you for having the courage to turn your passion into your career. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And you guys, if you enjoyed this interview as much as I did, I need you to let me know. Don't be stingy, right? I need you to like, I need you to comment, I need you to share, and I need you to subscribe. Until next time, bye.